Rejected by Harvard Business School. Ignored by the man he admired most. And mocked for his strange investing ideas. But the same boy later built a fortune worth over $100 billion. This is the unbelievable story of Warren Buffett. The man who turned patience into power. In the quiet streets of Omaha, Nebraska, a boy once watched the world of money with unusual curiosity. That boy was Warren Buffett, a child who would one day become one of the greatest investors the world had ever known. But the journey from a curious child to the Oracle of Omaha was not smooth. It was a road filled with uncertainty, rejection, doubt, and relentless persistence. Warren Buffett was born in 1930 during one of the darkest economic periods in history, the Great Depression. Families across America struggled to survive, and even his own household felt the pressure of financial instability. Money was scarce, and opportunities were uncertain. Yet, while most children played carefree games, young Warren was already thinking differently. He wanted to understand money, not just spend it. At the age of 6, Warren bought packs of Coca-Cola and sold each bottle separately for a small profit. It was a tiny business, but it sparked something powerful inside him, the thrill of building something from nothing. Soon he was delivering newspapers, selling chewing gum door to door, and even placing pinball machines in barber shops. But these early efforts were not always easy. Many people ignored him, some rejected him, and others laughed at the idea of a young boy trying to do business. Still, he kept going. By the time he was 11, Warren bought his very first stock. He invested in shares of City's service company. But what happened next tested his patience and emotions. The stock price quickly fell after he bought it. Fear, anxiety, and regret filled his mind. For a young boy, watching his money shrink felt like a crushing failure. Eventually, the price recovered slightly and Warren sold the shares with a small profit, relieved to escape the tension. But then something painful happened. The stock later skyrocketed far beyond the price he had sold it for. That moment burned a lesson deep into his mind. He realized that impatience and fear could destroy opportunity. It was one of the first emotional battles he faced in the world of investing. As Warren grew older, his hunger for knowledge grew stronger. He applied to Harvard Business School, believing it was the gateway to success. But instead of acceptance, he received rejection. The letter said he was too young. For many people, rejection like that could shatter confidence. For Warren, it felt like a door slamming shut on his dreams. Frustration, embarrassment, and doubt crept into his mind. But instead of giving up, he searched for another path. That path led him to Columbia Business School, where he studied under the legendary investor Benjamin Graham, the father of value investing. Warren admired Graham deeply and believed working with him would change his life. But once again, rejection struck. After graduating, Warren applied to work for Benjamin Graham. Graham refused. The young investor who idolized him was told no. Imagine the frustration. The man he admired most did not believe in him. Still, Warren refused to surrender. He kept studying, reading thousands of pages about markets and businesses. His dedication was almost obsessive. He spent nights buried in financial reports while others slept. Eventually, Benjamin Graham noticed Warren's relentless passion and offered him a job. That opportunity changed everything. But success did not arrive overnight. Warren returned to Omaha and started his investment partnerships. At first, people were skeptical. Who would trust their money to a young, relatively unknown investor? There was pressure, responsibility, and constant fear of failure. Every investment decision carried the weight of other people's trust. Markets fluctuated. Some investments looked uncertain. Critics doubted his unconventional approach. Yet Warren remained calm. He followed the principles he learned from Benjamin Graham: patience, discipline, and rational thinking when others were driven by fear or greed. Then came one of the most important decisions of his career: investing in a struggling textile company called Berkshire Hathaway. At the time, it seemed like a failing business. Many people thought the decision was foolish. But Warren saw something others didn't, the potential to transform the company into an investment powerhouse. Years passed. Slowly, methodically, he turned Berkshire Hathaway into a giant holding company that owned pieces of some of the most powerful businesses in the world. The young boy who once sold Coca-Cola bottles now controlled investments in companies like Coca-Cola Company and American Express. But even as his wealth grew, Warren faced immense pressure. Markets crashed. Critics questioned his strategies. Economic crises threatened investments. During the 2008 global financial crisis, fear swept through the world economy. Investors panicked. Stock markets collapsed. Many fortunes disappeared overnight. But Warren Buffett remained calm. While others were paralyzed by fear, he invested billions into companies he believed in. It was a bold move that required courage, confidence, and emotional strength. And once again, patience paid off. Years later, the world recognized Warren Buffett not just as a billionaire, but as a symbol of wisdom, discipline, and long-term thinking. He became known as the Oracle of Omaha, a man whose words could influence global markets. Yet despite unimaginable wealth, he continued living in the same modest house he bought decades earlier. He believed true success was not about luxury but about character, patience, and integrity. The boy who once faced rejection, anxiety, doubt, and financial uncertainty had become one of the most respected investors in history. His life proved a powerful truth. Success does not belong to those who never fail. Success belongs to those who learn from fear, rise from rejection, stay patient through uncertainty, and keep moving forward when the world says stop. And that is the silent strength behind the journey of Warren Buffett, a man who turned patience into power, discipline into fortune, and adversity into legacy.